Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing? It's Amanda Ellis, and today is October the 2nd, 2025. We are going to be doing an update video today on RFK Jr. Those of you that follow my channel know that I often stick with a particular subject or a particular person if I feel they are of particular value or are doing something significant. And I always follow through. So I will link below the videos that I've done before on RFK Jr. And there seems to be a lot of noise with regards to the deal that has potentially been done with Pfizer over the last 48 hours. So I have got some points that I'd like to share with you. I probably will also do a card reading on this. Might go to split screen later on in this video, so you can see the cards more clearly that I'm pulling. But I think to start off, some of you might be aware with regards to what's been going on. Some of you might not be. I will say at the outset that I don't have the full picture because I haven't sat through God knows how many news programs or press conferences. I'm not addicted to every detail with regards to what is going on with regards to the US government. But put it this way, when noise reaches us over here in the UK where I'm recording from, and I can also see a lot of noise on social media with regards to something, an energy spike, Metatron is saying, particularly with regards to a subject I've read on before, I sort of feel as I want to go back into it. Now, the comments may very well be switched off on this video. If you do not like RFK Jr., hate everything he stands for, don't waste your time watching. You're only going to get triggered. Okay, so this video is for people like myself who have publicly stated that we do like what he's about, do believe in what he is trying to do, and might be feeling a little bit derailed by the latest developments. So that being said, let's get on with it. I also will say that I actually love doing these types of videos. I really do. It's really interesting. Since I've sat down to do this video, my ears feel really blocked. In fact, upstairs, I felt a pressure change in my ears. And those of you that work with spirit know that often this is a sign that spirit is with us. But I'm also feeling there's something else going on as I'm tuning into RFK Jr. We'll get to what this is all about in a moment. Let me just tell you about the ears, because I feel as though he's got his father in his ear, guiding him at this time, because he does appear and look, and his energy does feel conflicted with regards to some of the decisions that are being made right now. He's definitely taking a longer term view on it though, and what I've written down here in particular is he's very good at being able to compartmentalize. This is actually quite a masculine trait, although some women are great at it as well, but I've noticed it more as a masculine trait where they can compartmentalize things, and what he's doing at the moment is compartmentalizing priorities. And for him, the deal that has been done is about the reduction of the price of meds across the board in the USA. If a deal has to be done with his sworn enemy in the past, because even in the speech that he gave in the White House, where he had to say something in front of Trump, in front of the CEO of Pfizer, he acknowledged that there had been those differences in the past, and there still are. But he's definitely all for taking it a step at a time. But yeah, the ears are interesting. So I feel he's got there's a couple of things going on with the ears. Number one, he's got his father in his ear trying to guide him. He's also actually trying to shut out a lot of the noise. And it's interesting, I keep using the word noise, but that's what I'm getting. He's trying to shut out a lot of the noise to not be too distracted with regards to what his long-term goal is. There's also an energy of for him and where he's at right now, having to turn a blind eye to some of the things that he fundamentally disagrees with, not because he's not maybe wanting to deal with them further down the line, but put it this way, a war is made up of many different battles, and this is just Act 1, as it were. So he's having to push things to one side, ignore many voices, go on what he feels is right to do, even though he knows he's going to get a lot of clapback from it, a lot of people misunderstanding, a lot of people feeling as though he's just sold out, for example. And it's almost as though doing this, I don't feel from a place of arrogance, actually, more just from a place of focus, that this is the job that I have to do. These are the people that I have to deal with. And I'm talking about particularly Big Pharma, because whether we like it or not, these big three-dimensional organisations, institutions, Metatron is actually saying what have been building blocks of reality in the matrix that we've been in up to now, are not going to just die away whilst there is still a demand for them. That's a really important point. So whilst the demand is still there for these drugs, I've written down here, you can't kill the beast. And it's very easy to blame the doctors or whoever it is that are maybe overprescribing. And I'm not saying there isn't a place for conventional medicine. I take it myself, okay? So we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But we do know maybe that there are maybe too many drugs in the system, both collectively and maybe individually as well. For some of you watching also, do we need a pill to deal with everything, or do we need to look at a more holistic approach to our well-being? As a spiritual practitioner and healer, I would always advise a combination of complementary and conventional medicine, dependent upon, of course, what you're dealing with. But anyway, what I'm really trying to say here is that he's taking on this big beast, is what I want to call it, with regards to Big Pharma. And what has to happen is you chip away at that over a longer period of time. You can't take it down all in one go. And indeed, is it meant to be taken down, or is it meant to evolve? What I've always been taught by Spirit is that these big institutions and organisations in our world, there is a dismantling required, there is a revelation required with regards to everything that has gone wrong in the past, that maybe they need to be held accountable to, absolutely. But there's also always an opportunity for change in every living thing, because that's almost God's promise, that everything has a degree or an opportunity for redemption, whether that is a clearing out of the old guard at the top of organisations for fresh grassroots energy to come up, or what. Now, I'm going to reference a few things here. This is just stuff that I've seen on social media, okay? So, you can verify it for yourself. I'm going to put allegedly in front of everything that I'm saying here, just because it's 10 o'clock in the morning here. I've got an hour to record this video. I don't have a whole hour to research everything, okay? So you also have a responsibility to check out things that I'm saying as well. I'm just giving perspectives here. But one of the things that I saw on social media this morning, which is actually an AI overview, so I'm assuming it's true, but maybe it's not. It says here that in 2009, Pfizer paid the largest criminal fine in US history, a 1.2 billion penalty as part of a 2.3 billion settlement for mispromoting medicines and paying kickbacks to doctors. So, there is a background energy of, for example, this particular company being held to account. Now, many of you are saying they need to be held to more account for things that happened during the pandemic. Drugs that maybe were rushed out too quickly without proper efficacy trials, safety trials. And this is part of, I think, a lot of the reaction online this morning, which is that there's a feeling in some that this company that have produced and manufactured their products, I'm just going to use the word products, during the pandemic, which is now being shown to have had many side effects and deaths, also probably saved some as well, it's dualistic. But where is the accountability? And instead of accountability, I believe that Pfizer has been given some sort of, I think it's linked to £70 billion. Let me just read what I say here. Pfizer has pledged to invest £70 billion in the United States over the next few years, focusing on research, development and capital projects. This investment is part of a broader agreement with the Trump administration aimed at expanding US-based innovation and returning manufacturing to the US. The deal also includes measures to lower drug prices for Medicaid patients and protect Pfizer from proposed pharmaceutical tariffs as long as the company moves its production to the US. This commitment was announced during a White House event on October the 1st, where the Pfizer CEO joined Trump and RFK Jr. So, you can understand people thinking, well, hold on a minute, rather than them being held accountable, they're being given an opportunity to make even more money. Now, RFK is on record. There's a quote that's doing the rounds this morning from less than 2 years ago, calling out Pfizer, and this is his words. He said, Pfizer is a craven, venal, homicidal, morally bankrupt criminal enterprise that has captured and corrupted its regulators. Roll forward to yesterday in the White House. I will actually link below what RFK Jr. actually said in response to this deal, because he was invited to the podium by Trump to say something. And I think the context of what he actually said versus the sound bites that are doing the rounds with regards to what people think he said is very important. You actually need to hear it from the horse's mouth, as it were. Because, yes, I've seen a lot of clips this morning with people basically saying, he's praising Pfizer to the sky. He's backtracked on what he said, obviously 2 years ago. But what I got from it, and I might be wrong, it's just my perspective, but what I got from it watching that video, it's 6 minutes, it's a 6-minute speech, is what he's actually praising is the opportunity via governance to bring in lower price meds to the USA, which to him is it's the biggest compartmentalised priority that he has right now. And he talks about a family friend of his who had something like $150,000 worth of medication or healthcare to find out of nowhere a year ago. And it was a toss-up between, am I able to give that medication and pay for that to myself or my daughter, I think it was. Both people in that family friendship group had issues. And I think the mother, of course, chose the daughter. And he's just saying, this is wrong. This can't go on. Particularly when, if I'm talking to an American audience primarily, which I probably am with this video, I think... probably most of you know, but maybe some people don't know, just the cheaper availability of drugs in other countries. My country, UK, is far from perfect. We have a crumbling health service. But as an example, my mother was in hospital for 2 weeks recently. We didn't have to pay a single thing for any of the care, for any of the treatment, for any of the drugs that she was given. And yeah, it's an imperfect situation. There are long waiting lists, people needing treatment. But effectively, the price of a prescription, I can't actually remember what it is in the UK. I'll put it above if I remember to do it in this video. £11, is it? Or has it gone up more than that? £15? Maybe it's more than that now. But it's certainly not hundreds and thousands of pounds. So, you know, this was really what he was talking about. So another few things then. Is there anything else I wanted just to mention with regards to what I've screenshot from social media this morning to maybe give context? So yeah, Pfizer is getting a tariff relief from what I can understand, as long as they are investing in the USA for manufacturing. There is also the assumption, or maybe it is said, with regards to the development of more mRNA products, which is contentious for many, but maybe that is, I mean, mRNA products are not new and have been around for a long time, so it's not like these have just suddenly been sprung on us. The medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry have been working on these things for decades, if not longer. I'm feeling at this point questions coming in from you sort of saying, yes, Amanda, but, you know, what about the med beds? I think we need to get grounded as a spiritual community. Med beds may very well be available at some point in the future, but the reality of every single hospital in the world having them is zero in the next few years. Zero, absolutely zero. The hospital my mother was in last week, they are still replacing you know, like, I don't know, carpet and tiling and painting. You know, they haven't got the money for med beds or anything like that. So let's just get real with it. You know, this is the reality. There is a pharmaceutical industry that is very embedded into all aspects of society in all countries around the world. You always, as an individual, have a sovereign choice with regards to what you choose to do with your body, what you take, whether you take the doctor's advice, whether you don't. But if change is to happen to that pharmaceutical industry, it's going to have to happen slowly. It's not going to happen overnight. I think that the announcement of reduction in cost of medication can only be a good thing. And I think it's easy to lose sight of it's that RFK Jr. is proud of. I will put up at this point the photographs of him in the office with Trump and the CEO of Pfizer yesterday. I put a little short up, not a short, I put a Instagram story up just to say, do you want me to do a video on this? And most people said yes. But I put to these pictures you're seeing now, if looks could kill, you know? I also put between a rock and a hard place, because body language doesn't lie. Now, Robert does have a face that's quite craggy, you know, and set in ways, but he also has eyes that twinkle and smile. There was none of that yesterday. You know, if looks could kill, I think is a valid observation of the body language in that room. There was also a moment where they were laughing, and again, I think we just need to keep balanced and grounded. I actually thought it was quite funny, Trump's joke. I'm sorry, I just do. And, you know, it doesn't make me a bad person. What happened, if you didn't see it, was Robert sneezes at one point, and Trump makes some quip about, quick, get a whatever the drug is, I don't know. It was just a silly moment. A lot of people maybe who haven't got a sense of humour might have found that deeply offensive. I just thought it was quite funny. But, you know, so those are the pictures of him smiling. Most of the time he's looking deeply uncomfortable, and the word I've written is conflicted. The other interesting thing actually with regards to his speech is he talks about the first time ever feeling anxiety with regards to this deal that's been done. I think he's also talking about just the pressure that he was put under by Trump, by others, to get this deal done. But I thought it was interesting that he mentioned that, and the fact he never suffers from anxiety, but he did experience it during this process. And I think those words were quite well chosen. It's almost like he's trying to flash an SOS to us, those of us that actually can see who the man really is and still believe in him, because I do still believe in him. We'll pull cards, we'll see what comes through. You know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe he's completely sold out, but I don't get that. I feel as though he's more between a rock and a hard place. I also have written down here that I feel as though he gets it much more than Trump does with regards to the extent of what is going on within the pharmaceutical industries. And anybody that's followed Robert's career over decades, there is a big body of work that he's done, books that he's written, research that he's undertaken on so many different things. So not dissing Trump with that, it's just the truth is he does know more. So, you know, but ultimately he's not in the top job. He is there. I've actually written hanging on to his job, because the truth is that you can't create change if you are outside the circle of power, and he knows that. So the only way that he can create more meaningful change with regards to other aspects of healthcare, and that is a huge broad subject which also covers, you know, the food that you're eating, the chemicals, the dyes, the manufacturing, all of that, not just drugs and pharmaceuticals. Healthcare is about many other things, of course. He can't make any change unless he's in that circle of power. So he needs to stay in the circle of power, and he needs to stay in a circle of power with people he doesn't necessarily get on with, doesn't agree with, but will do a handshake with to get a step further on the ladder of where he's actually trying to get to. Does that make sense? But there is a personal cost of him staying in the circle, definitely. I always talk about the Northern Ireland peace process at this point, when we're trying to come to consensus and compromise with people. And you know, if you don't know what that was, look it up. I talk about it all the time. But effectively, it was sworn enemies that get round a table to move the dial forward in a more positive way. Yeah, with regards to, in this case, peace in Northern Ireland, but with what's happening now in USA with regards to improving healthcare generally, that is also what's happening. And I've written down here, peace deals and compromises are made with your enemies, not your friends. Should we just think about that for a moment? Again, I think there can be aspects of spiritual community which is a bit like kumbaya. You know, it's as though these deals are just suddenly going to magically be done by the flash of a wand, and all of the people that are currently in the positions of power are not involved in it. Whether you like the CEO of Pfizer or not, he's there. He needs to be involved in any decision that is made going forward. So, yeah, peace deals and compromises are made with your enemies, not your friends. And I think that pretty much is what I've written down here. And I'm going to go to some cards now. I've got a few questions that I'd like to ask. I'm actually quite intrigued also. I haven't seen anything in the papers about this at all, or news generally, about the relationship between Vance and Trump, because I very much feel, and I'm doing that more, not because I'm just trying to leap over Trump as though he's not important. He is important because he's the president, but it's more that I'm in Robert's energy, and I feel as though Robert has got his eye very much on the longer term, and he's trying to hang on basically for a later date in time when more can be done. I'm hearing spirits saying at the moment he's having to play in the shallows and make the changes that are required there, which is still important, but there are much deeper waters to get into with much more difficult decisions and well, just huge wake-up call type energies with regards to healthcare that he can't yet do because I'm being given the analogy is there isn't a boat yet to take him to those deeper waters. I feel as though the boat is actually the presidency itself, that this current administration, he has agreed to be who he is within it, and he's grateful for that. But it feels as though it's only a stepping stone to something else in the future. He's waiting for a boat, and the boat is another president maybe, to take him to a place where he's able to dive deeper. It's a really good analogy, actually, isn't it? So it's as though he's there at the moment with a fishing net, trying to clear and sieve and do what he can to clean up. But really, the job that needs to be done is in deeper waters, and he doesn't have access to that, or he's not able to do that yet. Maybe he's just not granted access to be able to do that yet. I don't know how it goes. So I think I'm going to switch to a dual camera at this point. So I'll switch this camera off in a moment, and I just need to rejig my setup a bit. But let me just tell you what decks I feel as though I want to use and what energies I've also got here to help us with this. I feel as though I'd like to use the Arthurian Tarot. So if you're new to my work, you might not know that last year I did quite a big body of work with regards to King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. I did include RFK Jr. as one of those knights. And so I'd like to see just how he's feeling right now, what his position's looking like. Is it untenable? I mean, is there a timeline where he resigns? Is there a timeline where he's pushed? I don't know. We'll have a look at that. So I'm going to do that. I've also got a shadow deck that I'd like to use, which is the Lantern Oracle, or the Lantern Tarot. I have got a deck of Ashley's from the Reckoning Co., which is Echoes of the Unsolved. I think we'll use that as well. It's actually a true crime oracle, but I feel as though I want to maybe pull that with regards to just the shenanigans, maybe the back deals, what's actually going on with regards to Pfizer. And yes, I don't know, I'll just pull some cards on that, see what comes up. That's called Echoes of the Unsolved. And I'm going to weave in maybe a bit of Merlin energy as well. So King Arthur and Merlin. And before we even go any further, also just putting on the armour of God. In fact, I felt a strong pull to make sure that spiritual protection was very high in this video, because I feel as though it is a topic that is easily infested by energies that are not helpful. Okay, so let me turn the camera off and then we'll go to split screen. Thank you. Okay, we're back. Let's start then with some cards for Robert, and I'm going to start with the After Tarot, actually, just because I know this deck a little bit better than the Arthurian one, and then we'll pull one from the Arthurian energy as well. So, After Tarot, can I please be shown Robert's energy at this time? Show me Robert's energy at this time. I felt as though I had to force that one out a bit, but I do feel it's the right one. Let's see what it is. The Nine of Cups. Interesting. I said I had to force it out because this is the Wish card. He's trying to keep the dream alive, basically, within himself. He's trying to hold true to his dream, his vision of what he hopes for. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Oh, we've got the energy of the Six of Wands, which is victory. So that would actually say that the dream is still alive. We've also got the Wheel of Fortune there on the bottom of the deck as well, which is fate. Queen of Swords too. Maybe his wife, may not be, I don't know. That's just a woman with clarity and a cool head. I think it is his wife, actually. So at the moment, as far as he's concerned, the dream is still alive in terms of what he wants to be doing, and he feels that he is destined. He's a destined man for these times. Let's pull a card from the Arthurian Tarot. Robert, show me the energy of where he is now, please, with regards to the path that he's on, the dream that he has. Where is he? We're at Grail 3. Right, I'm going to have to look at the book because I don't know these cards off the top of my head. Let's see if I can quickly find Grail 3. Here we go. It's only a short little message. Grail 3, it says, it's about being in an apple orchard. A table is set with harvest fare. Of course, you're coming up to Thanksgiving soon. One of the prime functions of the Grail is to provide plenty to all who set forth on the quest. At Camelot, when the Grail first appeared to Arthur and his men, each person received the food that he most desired. This can, of course, also mean spiritual fare. This is a card of abundance, solace, fulfillment, and fortunate conclusion. The power to communicate joy and gladness and a generosity of spirit. I think it's interesting that we've got two cards linked into the energy of food. Somebody here tucking into a healthy meal. Here we have a healthy meal laid out on a table. I think this is the fact that he's actually feeling quite proud of the fact that he's been able to get this deal across the table with regards to providing for all cheaper medications, however it's going to work. I don't know all the details, okay? That he's able to bring in the harvest time somehow for people. Okay, let's have a card with regards to how he feels about having to make a deal with Pfizer. How he feels about having to make a deal with Pfizer. How he feels about having to make a deal with Pfizer. Look at that. That's the card of the broken heart. I actually think he did look quite heartbroken, to be perfectly honest. He has got one of those faces that, he doesn't have a poker face. You see all his emotion on his face. That's the card of the broken heart. He feels brokenhearted. You could also say, is this a card of feeling stabbed in the back? That he's had to do something that he really didn't want to do? I don't know. We've also got the 9 of Wands on the bottom of the deck, which is a card of defensiveness, a defensive position. But truly, his heart is not in dealing with these type of people. He knows also that they are backstabbers, and that they would like nothing more than for him to be out of the picture. He doesn't trust them. He doesn't particularly like them. He's done it purely for this more humanitarian reason, which is to effectively put food on the table for all. Yeah. Okay. Show me a card with regards to Robert's feelings with regards to Trump at this time, please. He certainly praised him a lot in yesterday's speech. What I saw, there was a lot of praise. Right, actually, all of those have just fallen out. So let's take them. You saw how that went. I will just say on the bottom of the pack, we've got the 8 of Pentacles. So I think he does respect the fact that Trump puts the work in. You can't take away from the fact the guy works hard. To be perfectly honest, I do not know how he has the stamina to be able to do what he does. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get on aeroplanes and be in one continent, one day signing deals here, doing this, and then the next day it's relentless. I know that is the job of a president, but he works damn hard, and whether you like him or not, he has worked hard throughout his whole life. He's all about his work, basically. Right, let's see, how does he feel about Trump? Well, there's quite a lot going on here. On one hand, the Page of Cups, he's grateful for the opportunity that Trump gave him to be in the administration in the first place. He's finding it hard work, though. Okay, so the Ten of Wands is not a card of defeat, but it almost feels like there are times when he definitely feels as though he can't carry on with it. But he's strengthened by the energy of the Queen of Swords, which I feel is his wife. I don't feel that his wife, is the one who is potentially wanting to trip him up and deceive him. I don't think he totally trusts Trump. To be honest, because I think he's seen that there is a side to Trump that is very ruthless, and he has to watch his step the whole time. But he's been around politics his whole life. He breathes it, he lives it, his heart beats to the rhythm of it. He knows the way things work. So his guard is up, basically. His guard is up. What else have we got here? Him and his wife again. I asked about how he feels about Trump, but I think this is him and his wife. Five of Swords, win at any cost, the Sun, fighting, the Tower, yeah. It's very precarious. He's on how he feels about Trump, he feels as though it could all implode any day. That maybe there are revelations as well that could bring the whole thing down, linked into Trump or linked into others trying to bring Trump down. I'm not going to get into the whys and wherefores of what the Tower is, but I asked, how does Robert feel about Trump? And this is volatile, heavy, difficult energy. So despite all the smiles and despite lack of smiles yesterday, really, apart from that one joke, apart from the positive words, I don't think they're fake. I think I'm actually hearing it's like, and you sort of fake it to make it. He wants to believe what he's saying, but yeah, he doesn't trust him. They are not natural bedfellows. They never were. They never will be. There's always going to be an energy of it's been a gamble. Has it been worth it? And there's a ruthlessness here. He knows that he could just be wiped off. I wanted to say the face of the earth, and I don't really like saying it in that way because we know what happened to his father. But there's always a threat energy around him, and politics is ruthless at the end of the day. But this card is really beautiful for him. I feel he's doing it for the right reasons. His heart is still in it, even though if it's feeling a bit broken with regards to who he's having to deal with right now, with regards to these pharmaceutical companies. I said I'd pull some cards with regards to him and Vance. I don't know. I haven't actually looked into Vance's energy for a while. It feels, as I'm tuning into him, and I know lots of you will be shooting me down for saying this, but I feel he's trying to keep his nose clean. He's just trying to bide his time. He knows he's the next one in waiting for the top job. Still feel that. He's making alliances. There he is, King of Wands. He's making alliances. What's that card? Yeah, exactly. I thought it was. He's making alliances because he knows at some point there's going to be the death of the old. Hopefully that's not physical death. It just means that it's the end of the Trump years. And after that, we've got this card poking out. This is his time. So is that the card of strength? Yeah, that's the card of strength. So he's biding his time. He's just waiting. So back to Robert. Robert's no fool. He knows that the future is probably Vance long term. Let's see. I'm interested how these two get on. Okay, Ten of Swords has just come out. With the Strength card, and the Three of. Didn't actually ask a question. Those cards just came out. could read those either ways. You could read those many different ways. I'm going to actually put them back into the deck, and if they're meant to come out to a specific question, they will. Let me give them a good shuffle. I want 2 cards for Vance, and I want 2 cards for Robert. I want to ask about their relationship, how they feel about each other. So how does Robert feel about JD? How does Robert feel about JD? I feel as though he's keeping his opinions quite close to his chest. I don't think he's revealed his cards. Don't think he's revealed his cards. How does Robert feel about JD Vance? It's that 10 of Swords come out again. I don't think he thinks he likes him. It's a bit of an understatement with that card, isn't it? Is that saying that he thinks JD Vance would effectively finish him off? Doesn't want him in the picture? I'm not quite sure, to be honest, guys. I might go to a different deck. Let's just carry on. Let me see. How does JD Vance feel about Robert? How does JD Vance feel about Robert? You see, I remember I'm being drawn back to a reading I did years ago when I looked at Vance, Trump and Robert, and I said, and I think maybe Elon Musk as well, and it's like there's 4 alphas in the room. What a bloody disaster that is. You see, alphas don't really like being around other alphas. So JD Vance is an alpha, definitely. RFK is an alpha. There's a bit of a mistrust there between each other. Okay, I'm hearing the word unproven. It's unproven. They're unproven. They don't have the history. You know, Trump and the Kennedys have history. Understand the system, grew up with it, etc. Have been around the same circles for, years. JD Vance is, he's did he write the book The Hillbilly? He comes from humble roots. Who is he? Who is he really? The suspicion on both sides. Okay, how does JD Vance feel about Robert? How does JD Vance feel about Robert? I'm getting more than anything a feeling in my body of like tightening up. It's like, when you feel very tense or you are about maybe to go into battle or something, you just tense up. I'm feeling this tense, basically. Tension. Not relaxed around each other at all. You see, now I'm thinking, I've assumed that Robert is thinking, look at that, what I'm about to say is interesting. I'm assuming that Robert's trying to maybe bide his time because he's thinking whoever is in next, I need to stay in tune with them, as it were, need to be in their good books. But is there actually something in Robert's energy which is, no, I want the top job? He's always said he doesn't. Got the moon. Veiled, don't know. 7 of Cups. I mean, it's a can of worms because he knows that he'd probably get shot down in flames for it, to be perfectly honest. I realise what I'm saying with these wordings. I'm not trying to be controversial. His uncle was shot. His father was shot down in flames. He wouldn't be allowed to run for the top job, I don't believe. He wouldn't be allowed to run for the top job. But this is almost like a wish on his part. Still haven't got to how JD Vance feels about him, have I? Okay, let's try. How does JD feel about Robert? Come on, give me a card. Are you able to give me a card, Spirit? Can you see there's just nothing wanting to come out? Okay, we've got one. Look at that. They don't trust each other at all. And actually, that is Vance, King of Cups, very emotional when it comes to Robert. Oh dear, okay. Right, well, no love lost. No love lost. Show me what could, is there anything that could unite them? Okay, what could unite them is a truth. A truth. A piece of information. Or it could also be, at the moment, they don't trust each other. I don't think they particularly like each other. They need to prove their worth to each other. I need to know that I can trust you, and I need to know that I can trust you. And at the moment, there is a gap. There is a gap. Split the deck. Yes, the Hierophant. Who is going to govern? Who is going to govern? And exactly, look, Judgment and the Hierophant. You can't make this stuff up. Who is going to govern and how? What is the judgment on that? Where's the truth? Interesting. Okay, let's just pull a few cards from here. This is Echoes of the Unsolved. It is a true crime oracle. So I don't know if this is going to work or not, but let's give it a go. Whoops. What am I asking it? It's a bit hard to shuffle, as you can see. I'm going to ask about Pfizer. Or just anything there is to know, please, Spirit, with regards to... Yeah, I want to say Pfizer. Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, blimey. We've stumbled down a rabbit hole here. It's not really surprising. I mean, a lot of these big organisations, I'm going to have to say allegedly for entertainment purposes only at this point. A lot of these big organisations are fronts for other things. You know, what's actually happening with the money? Where is it going? I'm going to just let the cards speak for themselves, really. We've got border crossing. We've got buried truth. We've got justice delayed. We've got physical evidence. Pinned location. Plea bargain. Last seen. You don't need me to tell you what they mean. Do you? That's a right old can of worms. So let's go back to Robert for one moment, because I'm not for 1 minute suggesting he's involved in any of this. If the beast and the monster that he's up against with regards to Big Pharma allegedly is involved in any of that, do you think you can just go in like a bull in a china shop and come out alive? Oh no. You have to play the much longer game. And you have to get the deals you can get for the higher, for the majority, as it were. Even if it's feeling like it's not crumbs, it's important what he's managed to achieve with this. But it's not a perfect deal. But he's not playing with perfect people. He knows who he's playing with. He knows where... He knows what he's up against. I'm just going to say that. I'm on YouTube. I want to remain on YouTube. Sobering, hey? You know, what we have here is what takes people down. Many people have died for this, trying to expose this. Trying to stand up to this. I'm not accusing anyone individually in this video, by the way. This is more an alleged, for entertainment purposes only, observation with regards to the big industries that are out there and what they're really up to and where their money really goes. Anything else? As if that's not enough. Let's just see. Anything else? Split the deck. Interrogation. Says it all. Whatever you feel about Robert, and whether you think he's sold out, whether you think he's still on track and he's trying his best, would you want to be in that chair? Would you want to be where he is right now? There's a trap door underneath that chair, by the way. That card's just come out the deck. Inside contact. He knows there are enemies within the circle of power. He's trying to keep himself alive, whilst trying to do as much as he can with the time that he has. May God protect him. Armour of God. I do believe he is protected. But, you know, these people, you know, who are very quick to judge him. You've sold out, you've done this, you've done that. You've got no idea what he's up against. That is serious crap. You know, I'm actually hearing this is off-world. This is off-world energies as well. It's not just this world. You know, without getting too down the rabbit hole, look at this face. It's like a shape-shifting energy. It's not even... Who is that? Are they even real? What are we dealing with? I'm not going to go any further. Some of you might have seen videos that have done the rounds with regards to one of the people that was in that room yesterday. Supposedly might be an energy of this, not Trump. Imagine having to stand beside that and try and do business with that. But actually, from a spiritual perspective, it's the energy of namaste, is it not? Because even if you fundamentally disagree, dislike, know the truth of what somebody is, who they are, whether you believe that they're this shape-shifting thing or not, is everything not of God? Is there not good in everything? Robert's at this place of trying to bring the bounty for everybody. He's trying to see the good in anything, whether it's an entity in front of him, whether it's an angel. And I'm not saying he's an angel himself. He's not. He's flawed. We all are. Let's pull one more card from the Arthurian Tarot for him. Robert. Final card. Hope it's a good one. Let's see though. Robert. The Round Table. There we go. There he is. He's part of the Round Table. That's actually a lovely card to end on, because I tell you what, in the round table, it's about shared responsibility, shared duty. The knights have each other's back. Yeah. It's a bit like when you see police go into a room where they don't know if there's going to be, somebody there threatening them, and there's always the police that's covering somebody's back, and that's very much what this is. So he's part of the round table, and as such, there is a degree of protection. I mentioned he needs to stay within the circle to be able to do what he's meant to do. He can't go out of it. He can't do anything outside of it. Yeah. And actually, whatever this energy is, if this energy is now feeling as though it's getting closer to the circle, or it's been invited into the circle have more ability to deal with it when it's closer. It's not hidden. It's not hiding in the shadows. It's in your face. What's that expression? Keep your enemies close. There's a bit of that energy going on as well. Very, very interesting. Let's end with a little squirt of the King Arthur spray, Holy Grail. And I'm feeling that this energy is saying every knight comes in with a mission. Every knight comes in with a contract. Every knight comes in with a predetermined time that they have to do it, to enjoy their life, etc., to be in this round table. But the other thing is that if any knight ever is taken out, replaced, incapacitated in any way, there is always another one that comes up into the circle to replace it. Yeah. So it's about the circle. It's about the round table. Okay, that's today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you've liked this video, please can I ask you to give it a like, particularly if I've had to switch off the comments, because it will help people see it. Otherwise, people don't even know I've done it. I really would appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye for now. Bye.